Do enjoy your U.S. history moment.
Thank you. All right, so I have Miss Pridgeon. I have you just want to be called Shirley, Shirley, instead of all that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Let me see. Shirley, are you okay? I have you on my roster. I was just looking at the. Are you a newer student?
Yeah, I started last week on Tuesday.
Okay. All right. Good. I have you as. So my name is Mr. Townsend. I teach history. I wanted to use today to kind of go over, since you're new, it'll probably be good for all the people that are here. I wanted to go over. We got progress reports coming up soon. Um, so Nalia, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
I got your checkpoint for history, and the work that you did was very, very good. I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'll put the feedback on there today and make sure that you get what you're supposed to be getting credit wise. So you're a little bit ahead. You're ahead of
Oh,
today's curve a little bit. So we have Shirley. She's new. What I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of see where the students that came to class, where they're at academically. So I'm going to share a little bit on Summit. I'm going to share a little bit on a checkpoint. And if you have already done both checkpoints and you're in good shape, just bear with me for a couple of minutes because we do have people that are new. So, so Shirley, I'm new myself. Let's just look at Summit together. Let's see. Hold on one second.
All right.
Let me just, I gotta close some of my browsers up here. I got too many browsers open. Give me a moment. Okay. Okay. Let me just get some of these tabs closed. I got like 100 tabs open right now. It's not good. It slows down my computer. Okay, so for history up to this point, we have done two majors. Let me come back here. We've done two major checkpoints. So let's go to Summit and look at what we have. Because they want me to put in your progress reports. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen with you guys so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, so Summit. Okay, so for Shirley, for the people that are newer and the people that are familiar, this is new for me. So this is just kind of some review. So you should be able to log on to Summit. Shirley, have they given you the access to log on to Summit yet? Or is that something I need to help you with?
No, I'm already logged in.
Okay, good, wonderful. All right, so when you go to, could everybody see the Summit on the screen here?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you come in, you go to U.S. History. On the left-hand side, you'll see UH. You'll see two projects. We're on the top one, Attitudes Toward Immigration. So on my list right here, we'll go to the first one. This was checkpoint one. It's a Civil War immigration. So Sammy, I have your work. I'm gonna give you that feedback and make sure that you get, I'll do your feedback today. I'll make sure that your grade is cool when we do the progress reports, okay? So if you click on this, you should come up with a checkpoint. Hold on, I'm still learning this myself. Give me a second here. Hold on. Okay, so when you come to checkpoint one, you should be able to go in now, and I added a PowerPoint down here. So this was our first real lesson, and this was a know nothing party. So if you hit that link, that's will open up the know nothings, and that will give you a PowerPoint. Most of my stuff is self-contained PowerPoints. I'm going to try to start using Nearpod and some different ways to get information to you, but right now this just seems to be the most convenient. Inside of your inside of each of your PowerPoints, there are always going to be hyperlinks. And up top, so there's always going to be where you can find this information, okay? Words that I want you to know or to be familiar with are usually put in a vocabulary word box, so you can look through those words and decide, which ones are the most important, what we need to use them for. Resentment and scapegoat carried over to the second one. So this first one in review was about a party called the Know Nothings. They were anti-immigrant. They were anti-expansionist. They were called also the American Party. So you're going to read this first article on immigration. And at the end, there are 4 questions. That's the first checkpoint that you're going to have to do. So when you go back to Summit, that's the information. It's right there. The Know Nothing Party and immigrant resentment. That's what you use. When you come up to do the checkpoint, you click here on Civil War and Immigration, and you'll see the same exact questions that were at the end of that PowerPoint is what I need you guys to do. Some have done it, some have not, so let's double check. So that's how you answer these questions. And you want to answer the questions right inside, hit text, and you want to answer right inside. You can move that around and give me your answers. Nothing is a mystery. Nothing, I'm not trying to make you find something or treasure hunt. Everything that you need to answer these questions are in the PowerPoints. If they're not in the PowerPoints, then they are in the information that you received. So when you receive information, it's nothing to try to trick you. It's there to help you. So checkpoint 1 was our first one. If you go to the second one, it'll say Reconstruction and Immigration. Same thing. If you go down, oops, where's it at? Okay, Reconstruction and Changing Attitudes. That's our second PowerPoint presentation. If you click that, that will come up for you. You can review that step by step. So these don't have to be sent to you anymore. They're on Summit. That's where they're going to be from now on. So if I make something, I'm going to put it on Summit for you. So you read, you use the hyperlinks. If there's an article that's there, if it says to read it, read it. If you want to read it for your own edification to learn more. But at the bottom, underneath where it says Irish and Black, I summarize it into bullet points. But then you're going to do a little research, vagrancy laws, some attitudes today. There's a hyperlink in there. You might have to cut and paste it. There was a video. And then this is your checkpoint 2. What was Reconstruction? So it's 5 questions. Most of your checkpoints will be question-based until I can get something a little bit more abstract. This class is history. So a lot of it's going to be reviewing history, looking at the answer, and coming up with a response. So if I got out of here and I went back to Summit, I will see who has turned in what. So when you hit on Reconstruction Immigration, right there is the second checkpoint. If I go into Summit and I look at, it'll tell me whether or not I need feedback. So when someone sends me something, I get their work. Like Ms. Johnson gave me her work. Ms. Johnson, you mind if I show them this work?
No, I don't mind.
Okay, I just want to show them an example of, Shirley, like when you go in and do your work, you just put it in. Mr. Towns will go in, I will read it. So Ms. Johnson, she answered the questions correctly. She used the information from the PowerPoints, and she did a very good job with her. Good. So everything on here that I see from her is good. So what I will do is I will take a section, and I will just take any section, and I'll give feedback. you'll see something else over here, and it'll say good work. Like a nice way to integrate evidence. You found evidence. Integrate evidence into answers. Whoops, not the best typer, sorry. And I hit post. And then I would hit continue, and then I would send that. So now she know when I go to, now I have another gentleman's that I have to do, but I'm not gonna do his right at this moment. So when I go back to Reconstruction and Immigration, I should be able to see how many people in the classroom have completed it. So if I look right now, I think it's just Zenelia and Jairi are the only ones that are done. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to take the time while I had class today. Let's see, 2 need feedback. Okay, so Sammy, you did checkpoint 1. That's already done. Okay, so let's work on checkpoint 1 because it looks like Miss Pridgeon, did you turn in checkpoint 1? Christina? Christina, you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay. So were you able to, I was up in Summit and I don't see response for checkpoint 1 for you.
That's because it's through email.
It's through email? Okay, let me check my email. Okay. Is that okay? All right, I see it. Hold on a second. I have the PowerPoint, Christina, but I don't have any answers in them. Let me see. Hold on. This might be it. Did you do it in Google Slides?
I think so.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're getting credit for your work. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I do have yours. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take that from the Google slide and put it in your, so you have the first one, Sammy has the first one. Shirley Ann, there's really, since you just came in, I just want you to work at a pace that, you feel most comfortable with. Every day from 1 to 2 o'clock, I have a lab. So if you need help, if you want to go over some of the information that we've had, but you do have time. Right now, you'll be on okay because you just came in. So checkpoint 2. See checkpoint 2. Okay, so I have all those in there. Sammy, were you able to get started on checkpoint 2?
What was that?
It was questions, right? I think I emailed it to you too.
I ain't hear what you just said.
I said, were you able to get started on checkpoint number 2?
Yeah, you emailed
I'm about
it
to
to me and
start
I
doing it right
emailed
now.
it.
Okay, you can use the class time literally right now to work on it.
All right.
Okay, so just take your time. I'm here if you need any questions. So Sammy, Christina, did you get checkpoint done too? Checkpoint number 2 done also?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have both. So the only people that really need to work right now, Sammy, I'm gonna just let you work on your own. You go ahead, work in Summit and work on checkpoint number 2. For the other ladies, let me see. Shirley Ann, can you show me checkpoint 1 again? Sure. Let's go to Chrome. I mean to Zoom. Let me share my screen with you, and I'll show you what checkpoint 1 looks like. So checkpoint 1 is here. It's civil war and immigration. If you go, I think you can go to overview. You'll see if you scroll down. See, I think you have to click on it first. And if you go down, I added the PowerPoint down here at the bottom. So this is the Know Nothing Party and Immigrant Resentment. Shirley, you click that. That opens up as a PowerPoint. When you come to the top, click on the Civil War and Immigration. That'll be checkpoint number 1. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Or since you just came in, what is your schedule after 1 o'clock? Do you have anything scheduled after 1 o'clock today?
After 1,
After 1 p.m., yes.
I'm doing afternoon classes with my math teacher.
Okay. Did they tell you who your homeroom teacher is yet?
Miss Curran, I believe.
Okay, so Miss Christina. All right. So I'm gonna just say what I would do is I'm gonna get I have to talk to Miss Christina. I want to get your email. I want you to get copies of everything and then an explanation on how to start responding in Summit. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, but for today, I want to look at something more current. So just give me one moment. And I wanted to give those people who are working a chance to just go ahead and work on what they're working on. Okay. So we're going to look at some of the rights. I'm going to save this for you. And I'll add this on Summit. So let me share with you. Stop share. I'm making sure I got everybody's name right. So when I go for attendance, everybody is there. In one moment, I'm just sending a message. Okay. So we're going to look at something about immigration participation and protest. Okay. I'm going to save this as a informational session to try to give you guys some information about what the rights are for immigrants' participation in protest. So I guess if we're going to do that, we should define first. And I'll put these in notes for you. I'll start dating these in notes. So what is protest? What is protest? You can use the chat if you like.
A protest is like when you stand up for something you believe in. I believe that's what it is.
That's a perfect, I couldn't have said that answer any better. That's a perfect answer. So a protest by definition, is standing up for what you believe in. And you can protest pretty much anything in the United States that you don't like. Um, our First Amendment to the United States Constitution gives us 4 rights. It gives us religion, assembly, free speech, and freedom of religion. In the Constitution, where's my Constitution? I got it right here. I'm not going to unroll it, but I know that in this Constitution right here, it says that people have the right in this country to peacefully protest. Now, peacefully protest means they have the right to assemble, they have a right to come together, and also the Second Amendment talks about a redress of their grievances. I know that sounds like some complicated words, but really it is saying, I don't like something going on in my country. Now, we've been talking about immigrants. Inside of our first 2 classes, we learned that immigrants are people that come from other classes. That come from other countries, or that they are descendants of people that come from other countries. So by definition, every single person that is in the United States of America today, by definition, unless you are native, is an immigrant. So my question today we're going to talk about is, what rights do immigrants have to participate in protest? So let's look at some of the rights. Well, real quick question. Do you think that immigrants who are not necessarily citizens, I'll read the background for you. This is from 2017. So on May Day 2017, thousands of immigrants across the country will participate in historic rallies and protests against efforts to criminalize immigrants and extreme anti-immigrant rhetoric of the Trump administration. Immigrants' rights are asking immigrants considered not working, shopping, or attending school on May 1st as part of these actions. In addition, immigrant workers may not want to participate in the civic and nonviolent rallies that are being planned for that day. However, advocates around the country have reported that in the past, some immigrant workers who participated in protests were fired because they participated. So before they decide whether to participate in such actions, workers need to know that if they do participate, they could suffer adverse employment-related consequences. So it is important for every worker to know their rights and understand the possible consequences of participating in these demonstrations. So the question I ask you is, with the anti-sentiment, should people lose their jobs for protesting? Is protesting a bad thing? Is it a negative action? So is there anything negative about protesting? Okay. I have an answer that says no. Does anybody think that protesting is negative? Or when can protesting, okay, depends on the situation. When can protesting become negative? Okay, good. There's freedom of speech, which is given to us by the First Amendment of the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for. When protests become violent, if you guys have seen this word before, a riot. When a protest goes from a peaceful assembly to a riot, by law it becomes unlawful. I understand that people are angry. I understand that people have a right to do things. But once you start looting and breaking and smashing other people's property, then you are in the wrong. I understand. I am a adamant fan of revolution. I know that things need to change in this country, but not at the expense of breaking the law and hurting and breaking other people's stuff. I come from two school of thoughts. One side of me is Dr. King that says nonviolent, and the other side is Malcolm X that says any means necessary. Those are like my two differing spectrums of thought. The Malcolm X in me wants to fight, and the Martin Luther King in me wants to peacefully assemble. So these immigrants, they have these rights. So the rights that they have the right to free speech. Just like you and I have the right to free speech, immigrants have the rights to free speech. Immigrants have the right to protest during non-work hours. So if they're not scheduled for work that day, they have a right to protest something that they don't like. Has any student in here ever taken part of a protest?
Yeah.
What type of protest can be anything from standing on a corner to I can't remember what day it was, but I know we were trying to do a blackout a while ago where we weren't going to spend any money anywhere for a day. See, us as citizens, we have rights that are given us, certain inalienable rights the Constitution says that are given to United States citizens. The problem is because of what we're talking, when we get caught up, we're going to see that this sentiment of anti-immigration continues to flourish in this country. If you watch the video from the gentleman, the teacher from Vanderbilt, we talk about a question, what is white male resentment? What is white male resentment? And it's an anger toward anyone else but people who are Caucasian and male, basically succeeding in this country. There's never progress without struggle. And that's not me, that's Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass said there's never progress without struggle. So in order to make progress, we have to struggle. So these immigrants that are here, they're working in the United States. They don't have all of the rights of an American citizen, but they do have the right to free speech. That's the first one they have. Could it cost them their job? Possibly. Should it be like that? No. So they have the right to protest during non-work hours. You hear a lot of time when people are anti-protesters, they'll say, why don't you people have jobs? Why aren't you at work? Because I don't have work right now. I'm not scheduled to work today. So therefore, I don't have to stay home. I have a constitutional right to go out and petition. The right to protest to improve collective working conditions. The National Labor Relations Act also provides protections to workers who act together and participate in political activity designed to improve working conditions for all workers, depending on the form of action it takes. Has anyone ever heard of the word strike when it comes to working? What is a strike? And it's not something that I know it happens in baseball and bowling, but what is a strike? What does it mean when workers say we are going on strike? You can look it up on your phone if you need to, or the internet. What's a strike? You see people outside with signs and protesting and saying, we want better wages, we want better working conditions. So what is a strike? What do workers want when they strike? Okay. Both your definitions are correct. A strike can be a punch in the face, right? It could be something physically that you're striking, you're hurting, you're bashing. That's a strike. People protesting against where they work, they want it usually to be treated better. Good, good. You answered my question before. They have the right to be not only treated better, but to have better work conditions. I know that some of you students have jobs, and I know that at some jobs, you may not have the best working conditions. You may not have enough lunch, you may not have enough break. Your air, your water may not be clean. So even though immigrants are here, and they don't have particularly the law behind them, they do have the right to prove and protest for collective better working conditions. Also, the next one is greater protections. And what do I mean by greater protections? Does that mean they want a team of bodyguards outside all day? So some state laws afford greater protections who workers engage in political activity. For example, the California Labor Code protects employees who engage in political protests. Workers should ask local immigrants' rights advocates or the local ACLU, which is the American Civil Liberties Union, for information about protections under the laws in the state where they reside. See, that word resentment, that bitterness, the anger that people have against immigrants can be translated to, so when a group of people, I know we have a couple minutes left, but when a group of people have resentment and anger for the other, what usually happens? What type of things usually happen when two groups of people don't get along with each other or resent each other or have anger toward each other? What usually happens? What happens when you, in your personal life, have bitterness and anger towards somebody? What usually happens between you two? Do you end up getting along every day? Are you best friends? Do you share lunch? What usually happens when there's bitterness and anger against a group of people? Don't be afraid to answer. You can answer in the chat. What happens when there's one group of people who have resentment and anger toward the other? What is inevitable to take place? Good. Thank you. Thank you, both you ladies. I was 1 minute from typing it. Shirley Ann shared that it's usually a fight, an argument is going to take place, correct? They usually end up fighting or going against each other, which is perfect. That's excellent insight, ladies. Thank you. So when there are people like the Know Nothing parties, when there's people like the new Trump supporters and people who are anti-immigrant, they're always going to end up in a fight. We're going to take on, what is today, Monday? On Thursday, we're going to take a look at some of the political unrest that's taking place in this country right now because of, remember, the overall arching theme is we want to see how the attitudes toward immigrants has changed over the course of the history. When we looked at the Civil War, it said, well, the immigrants were 430,000 strong. A lot of them contributed to the North. You also had 4 million freed slaves in the South, and they were beneficial because when there was war and the immigrants were there, they were able to use them as a commodity, which means they were able to use them to fight the war, which makes the economics better. Anti-immigrant sentiment usually comes when the economy is changing and social dynamics are changing, which means a group of people who have been in a certain amount of place for so long, when they see other people, this happened. There's a statement for this. There's a term for this that took place in this country. It's called white flight. What happens is, and this is just a generalized term I'm using to try to describe the situation. But usually when another group of people come into where the indigenous or the people that live there, they automatically think these people are going to take my job. These people are going to take my home. These people are going to date my daughter. These people are going to take from me socially. So what happens is they end up moving away into the suburbs. So at one time in Philadelphia, Frankfurt and Kensington were all white neighborhoods, believe it or not. Brooklyn, New York was an all white neighborhood in the 50s, in the 40s and 50s. People started moving out of the cities because of the Great Migration. All of the people coming from the South to cities, Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, New York. So when we think of where a high population of immigrants and minority are, we think in cities. But in reality, they're spread out everywhere, but this fear, this resentment can carry over to trying to suppression of their constitutional rights. So even though these workers are here, they do have a right. See, may workers be disciplined or fired for engaging in protest. Sometimes they could be fired just for protesting. If I was Mexican, I'm not Mexican, but if I was Mexican, I would be protesting against the mistreatment of Mexicans. My parents are Black and German, so I have an affinity for things that are going on with people who are my color. So if I was going to protest, I'd probably protest more for people who are similar to me. Or, as a father, I would protest against people mistreating or harming single mothers, because that's something that means something to me. My mother was a single mother. So that means something to me personally. So we have all these different regulations and rules that apply. And a lot of these are just called technicalities. But an immigrant should be able to participate in protests without being harmed or lose their job. It's the same thing that applies to all American citizens. So I only have 2 minutes left. So what I want to do is, if you have not, it's okay, Ahmad. If you do not have checkpoint 1 or 2 complete, it is your responsibility, not mine, your responsibility, your young adults, to contact myself or your mentor to get that work done. When we come back on Thursday, Ahmad, the same thing in this class. We're trying to make sure that everybody has their checkpoints done up until this point. Shirley Ann, I will send you an email. I will talk to your mentor and get you all caught up so you're not behind, okay?
All right.
So what I'm going to do is I only have, okay, Ahmad, yeah, get that started. Try to have that, if you can, get it in before the end of the day, because I'm going to be doing progress reports tonight. So everyone else in the room is, Sammy, how's it coming with getting a second checkpoint done? Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. I just finished.
Okay. Zanelia, as soon as possible. I need checkpoint 1 as soon as possible. But the fact that you already did checkpoint 2 will keep you in good standing for right now. I know you have a lot of different things going on, so you get checkpoint done as soon as you can. Okay? It's not a life or death situation. So Sammy, those that I checked in, the people that just came, like I said, Shirley, and welcome. Hopefully classes will get a little bit more interactive. Sammy, keep working on part 2. Ahmad, work on part 2. And Christina, I have yours, so I will update yours in the system. Okay? So we're out of time for today. I hope you guys have a good day. If anybody needs me, I'm in lab. If not, you can. And I also have a new phone number that I got to put up for you guys. Hold on one second. I'm going to put up my new phone number. And it's my personal number. And no, I don't care if you call me on it. It's not that big of a deal. I'm here to help you. So 267-680-3827. That's my number. You gotta do is ask for Mr. Townsend, and I'll be glad to take my time and help you. Okay? That's my contacts. So I will see you guys on Thursday. Have a good afternoon.